What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today, I think it's finally time we address the elephant in the room and we talk about what happened to our 6.7 engine. So a few months ago, we had a event we went to, Randy's dyno and sled pull event, and that's the event that we made 1400 horsepower on this engine. And if you guys remember, we had a failure basically the Monday before the event. The event was on a Saturday. So the Monday before, we had actually rod knocked this engine, and we had to basically have go through a full rebuild on the engine within that week. It was a huge fiasco. If you guys haven't watched it already, I'll put the link down below, but definitely check it out. Anyways, we went to the event. We ended up getting the truck together. We went to the event. The truck ran great. We made 1251 horse on fuel only, and we ended up spraying it to make 1414 horsepower. We were bleeding rail pressure. We found some other issues, but either way, I was super happy with that number. But when I came back, I went to do the oil change because I literally broke it in on the dyno. I put the truck together, got it running Friday morning at like 4 in the morning, and we got to the event and I had 0 miles on it. I was just revving it, trying to break it in, doing some brake boosts, and literally the break-in happened on the dyno. So when I got it home, I went to do an oil change, and I found out there was some coolant in the oil. So I started looking to address that. And of course, first thing I'm gonna look at is head gasket. So I pulled the valve cover off, pressurized the cooling system because I wanted to see if maybe it was leaking out the side. Because remember, we're running a fire ring head gasket setup, so that means the head gasket doesn't actually seal the combustion chamber. It just seals the oil and coolant passages going from the head to the block. So if you haven't fully crushed your O-rings, it's a possibility that the gasket's gonna leak out. So I was looking to see if we had anything like that, had the valve cover off. And one thing I noticed was in a few of the head studs that were under the valve cover, there was actually coolant coming up, pooling over the head stud and going into the oil system. Also seen that the threaded and freeze plugs on the head were leaking. So went ahead, resealed all those freeze plugs, changed the oil, and I did a retorque, drained the coolant, and then I did a hot retorque, and I just kept doing that. I did probably like 3 or 4 hot retorques and 3 or 4 cold retorques, but unfortunately, no amount of retorques was gonna save what was wrong here. So without further ado, let me show you what the hell happened. See if I can get come on, focus up. It's hard to see. That one you can see a little better. So basically you see there's a crack in between the cooling jacket to the head stud. And there's another one. There's another one. And I believe there is a crack here. It's very faint, hard to see. But basically in multiple spots, we had the block compromised from the cooling jacket to the head stud. So it was basically allowing coolant to run up through the head stud into the cooling, into the oil system. So I mean, that sucks, definitely. That basically means this block's no longer usable. So as you can see, I got it fully stripped out. I don't really have a cause for why this happened. I don't know. I think it's just heat. And of course, when you're playing at the power level that we're playing at with this block, I mean, it's a stock 6.7 block. It's not going to live forever. Unfortunately, I was hoping it would live a little longer than, 3 months that it did. But, we also beat the crap out of it. So it kind of is what it is. Definitely got a little bit of learning on this engine. And definitely got some notes to take on what to do on the next one. All right, guys, so we got the motor all torn down. I got everything on the bench here. So everything over here looks really good. Our pistons are still in good shape. We're probably gonna just reuse those. I mean, even the skirts look just fine. Our tool steel wrist pins, DLC coated, of course, they're doing just great. And then, our wagglers, they're gonna be just fine. So even the small end bushings look fine, the wrist pin bushings, so not too worried there. Obviously, we're gonna get new rings this time. I'm not even gonna try to reuse them. Remember what happened last time. But the story over here is the bearings and the crankshaft. So you guys can see, I mean, got a little wear there, but number 2 has a decent little scratch. I know it's hard to hear. You good? Anyway, got a decent gouge here. It barely catches your fingernail, so I don't know. Russell over at Enoch will let us know if we can save this crank as far as just polishing it out. I think it'll polish out because, like I said, it's just barely but I'm not the expert here, so hopefully the rest of the journals look all right. Number 6 here has a little something too, but nothing that catches your fingernail. So overall, the crankshaft, I think is going to be just fine. So we're going to find out. But you guys can see the bearings took a little bit of a beating, especially this number 5 here. You can actually see it's gone all the way down to copper. So it's obvious that something went through. And this bearing looks kind of like the bearings that came out of the motor when it rod knocked. So I'm wondering if maybe there was something left in this oil pan that didn't get fully cleaned out. I don't know. The cam looks fine. I don't know. Maybe something in the oil pickup. I don't know. So obviously we rushed to put this motor together that whole week for Randy's event. So it doesn't surprise me that maybe something got missed. That's the unfortunate part when you rush things. And this is why you don't want to rush things, especially things such as an engine build. And it is what it is. This is basically my first high performance engine build. So, then to rush it, well, this is the second rendition, but this engine was the first high performance build I've done. So then to rush it, it just kind of is what it is. So gonna have to just make sure this time we'll go through, clean everything out. We'll really just take our time because this next engine I want to last a lot longer. All right, guys, it's been a few days, but we're fueling up. We got some stuff loaded in the bed. I got a new 6.7 block, or new to us. If you guys remember, this is the block that we actually stole the crank out of when we blew the motor the first time and we had to get another block. So this is the one we're gonna send up. This is gonna be the replacement for our crack block. And then I got some heads. I got my head, the PDD ported one, and then I got another one that we're gonna start working on too. Then I got some parts for customer builds that I got there, just some pistons and stuff. So yeah, we're fueling up. I messed up. I meant to do the mile per gallon test this week, and then I accidentally reset my odometer. So we're gonna find out exactly what we get for fuel mileage, at least highway mileage on the way to Enoch, but we'll see. All right, just like last time, exactly 30 gallons. Gotta love that price. Thanks, Joe Biden. I'm just kidding. I don't think it's actually just Joe Biden's fault, but it does suck paying that much for fuel. But it is what it is. Let's go ahead, hit the road, Joe. So I forgot to mention too that this is actually the first time driving the truck out of town. I've owned it for about 1.5 years, going on 2 years now, and yeah, never had the excuse to take it out of town, so it'll be kind of interesting. I can tell you the only thing I do miss is, since I'm running this aftermarket steering wheel, I don't have my cruise control controls, so got to do it the old school way. You know, first world problem, but you know, still. Oh well. Anyways, guys, we're on the road. Nothing but desert and open road in front of us, so about a 2.5 hour drive and we'll be in Cedar City. Guys, so I'm going to wrap the video up here. I included the drive to Enoch Motorsports, basically from Vegas to Utah, because I think that is such a beautiful drive. Even though my machine shop is like 2 hours away from me, I have no problem doing that drive because, you know, it's almost like therapeutic going through the mountains and everything, going from Vegas to basically small town Cedar, where it's all trees and everything, farms. I missed it, but when I went through, there was like, on the right, there's farms, and there was like little kids, like 3 or 4 little kids, all dressed up in like cowboy looking, you know, rancher outfits with cowboy hats and everything, and they were practicing lassoing the cows. I mean, so again, it's just super cool. I love Cedar City. I love Utah. But anyway, I digress. That's why I included that drive footage. But anyways, guys, we got the engine dropped off, the engine block, whatever parts, and basically I want to talk to you guys kind of my future plans of what I want to do to make sure this engine is going to live a bit longer than the last one did. And mainly I think it comes down to instrumentation, right? So you guys can see I've been doing some prototyping with ISPRO on some of these gauges they sent me to try out. Awesome gauges, by the way. Stay tuned, they will be out. I don't know when, but they're pretty cool. I like this dual design. I don't know if I'd necessarily run them like the way I did, but anyway. And you guys see I have a Edge CTS3. So right now I have basically the normal PIDs that you get out of the Edge and a EGT probe, which about only half the time did I actually have it hooked up, which I think is a major issue that I had with heat. So you guys can see also I got a fuel pressure gauge, which is super important. I think the main thing I want to work on going forward is we're going to have a bit more instrumentation. I want to monitor EGTs, of course. I'm going to actually monitor them this time. I want to be able to accurately monitor boost, because you guys can see I only ever saw 40 pounds because it would tap out the second I hit the gas. And same thing with the pyrometer. When I was using this gauge, it would tap out at 16. So I want to accurately be able to watch the temperatures, pressures, and everything. So that is one big change we're going to have moving forward once we build the new engine. Also changing some things on the engine, which I will cover, of course, when we go to build the engine. Some of the specs I changed, some of the parts are changing, but for the most part, as of right now, I'm sticking with the same fuel and air setup. Talking with Dom, and the guys over at Dynamite, we're kind of in agreement with what I want to do with the truck. The setup that I have is going to be just fine without going too crazy and keeping drivability and everything like that, because I do want to daily drive it as well, which I never really got to do. I've been happy. I've got now like 2,000 miles on this truck, which is the most I've ever put on this truck in one stint, which is more than that other motor ever had. So I enjoy driving my truck. I love the truck, but I do miss the 1400 horsepower. The 700 horsepower is great, but once you've had the just stupid power that over 1,000 horsepower gives you, I mean, just hitting the gas at 80 miles an hour and breaking the tires loose, it's not safe. I wouldn't recommend it to most people, but once you do have it, it's kind of hard to go back. Even though, again, like the 700 horse that this truck's making now is plenty for 99% of people, and this is what I will push to most of my customers. There's just something about just having ungodly amounts of power that I just miss. So anyways, guys, I'll go ahead and wrap the video up here. Pretty much covers what happened with the old 6.7 and why we're running a baby motor right now, as I call it. But don't worry, guys, soon we'll be back. We got a ton of new things going on with the motor, a lot of changes, like I said, and I think we're going to be in a lot better place. You know, this whole thing's all about learning. I learned my lesson. I learned a few other things from the build, from the rebuild, from blowing the motor, from, you know, watching things like that, which I think are going to go miles in, you know, what we're going to do with the new engine and the moving forward in this program. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was just a lot of talking, but, you know, figured I got to let you guys know what happened, because I kind of just said, hey, motor blew up and it's out now. So want to let you guys know that it's not gone forever. We're going to be back. 700 horsepower ain't going to stay for long. So again, guys, hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please leave a like down below. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, go ahead, put them in the comment section down below, and I will be sure to answer them. And if you guys haven't already, please subscribe, share with your friends. That all helps. I really appreciate you guys' support, and I'll catch you on the next one.